You know what I mean? And by the way, maybe your thing isn't funny, but in our industry, in health and wellness, there is a whole lot of really well-educated people with a ton of degrees and certifications who are...
Welcome to Tony Talks. We are on episode 9 and we are so glad to have you with us. We're going to read some questions that you guys have sent in and Tony's going to answer them.
Yes, I am. But first, before I do that, I'm going to read an amazing story, and this comes from a gal. Her name is Anna Valletta, and it's a pretty cool story, so I'm going to read it, and I think a lot of you guys and gals will be able to relate to this. So she says, well, here I go with my story. Sorry, my grammar is not perfect, which actually it is, so, you know, she didn't know how good her grammar was, since English is not my native language. So this was really impressive, actually. My name is Anna Valletta, and I'm from Mazatlan, Mexico, currently residing in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm 34 years old, and I'm a mom and a wife, and I've been obese for about 10 years, always looking for a way to lose weight, but always failed. I found out that I had a thyroid disorder called hypothyroidism, which I think you have.
I do.
You have that as well. About 5 years ago, she discovered that. This just made me more depressed because this disorder makes your metabolism slow down and makes you have low energy and gain weight. I was told I had to depend on a certain pill and medications for the rest of my life, and that there is no cure for this disorder. It really made me feel like I should just give up and be comfortable with my weight. I didn't really feel any different with that pill, so I stopped taking it about 2 years ago. I got in a different kind of diets according to my thyroid. I lost only a few pounds, but then gained them back, plus more. After a lot of research and refusing to accept this weight, I put myself together and I borrowed my brother's P90X program and started pushing play. The program not only has helped me physically, but mentally too. Now it's not about losing weight anymore, but it's about loving myself and being happy. Yes!
Hey.
Anna! That's what Tony Horton has done for me, and I will forever be thankful. Which is awesome, but here comes the good part, boys and girls. I still have 1 more month to go for my first round of P90X, and I already feel great. 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation points. I've lost 32 pounds and counting, and I'm going to be doing my second round of P90X, and then I might do a different workout to keep me in shape. Yeah, it's called P90X3, just FYI. As of today, I can say that I'm starting to doubt that there was ever no cure for hypothyroidism, as I feel no more symptoms, exclamation points times 3,
amazing.
None, 2 more exclamation points. This is amazing, 2 more exclamation points. Tony Horton, all I want to say is thank you, 1, 2, 3, all caps, exclamation point, for doing what you do, for changing lives. God bless you and your beautiful wife, which without her I'd be nothing. P.S. I can't wait to get my poster and hang it up on the wall to remind myself to bring it every day, Anna.
I love that story. That is awesome. And we have she sent in some before and after pictures. Like she said, when she sent these, she's about a month away from finishing. But by the time this airs, she could be almost done.
I know. And by the way, these, who knows? She's probably halfway through by the time this airs. You're right. But this last month is going to be crazy for her, right? Because those first 2 months, so many people have been through P90X and they go, something's happening. I don't really feel that much. But that last month, that's why we didn't call it P60X, because not as effective. And for some people, and Anna, you might be one of them, a lot of gals felt like 1 more month, making it 4 months, P120X, really was the difference. And then after that, the sky's the limit. You can do other programs or join a rock climbing gym or just, make sure that consistency and that good diet and everything else. But, P90X cured hypothyroidism.
If someone was going to do the extra month, would they start back over from the first month?
Yeah, that would work. Or you can pick and choose. Everything's broken up in little 4-week chunks. So pick out your favorite. It's just a matter of how hard you train what's that?
I said favorite. I like that.
Yeah, pick your favorite. Or pick your least favorite. That might be more productive. All right, questions. We got 6 good ones.
All right, we do. We've got the questions keep coming, and they are so good. First one is from Dan from Minnesota.
Oh, up there, up there in Minnesota, right there near the Canadian border, up there, Oh, what's that question? Much better than my Australian accent from last week.
Oh, what?
Put shrimp on the bar. We can't do that one.
No.
Terrible.
Is that your Minnesota Australian accent?
Yeah, well, it's a hybrid.
He says, question about hitting stalls and weight loss. Hey Tony, I'm a huge fan and you truly got me hooked on working out. I'm interested to know, what do you do when weight loss and losing inches stalls? I've been doing P90X for almost 3 years now. I've been following Weight Watchers for the same length of time. I've lost almost 70 pounds, but I haven't been able to lose more weight for over 5 months now. I'm about to finish P90X 3 in 3 months, and I still have no results with weight loss or measurement-wise. What advice would you give to someone who works out 7 days a week and follows Weight Watchers? I've also tried adjusting my food in both directions. Thanks, Dan.
Well, Dan, I think you might not like this answer, but you might be at that point where you might need a trainer. You know what I mean? Somebody who's right there watching you train, and maybe that person would watch you do the program and to see if you're lifting the right weight, using the right weights, doing the right rep counts, if you're pushing yourself hard enough. You know what I mean? If you're doing all the exercises correctly. Because I'm not there to be able to see how you're doing the program. Obviously, with a 70-pound weight loss, he's done a lot right. And I know a lot of people who had the worst form in the world, somehow didn't get hurt, and lost 120 pounds. And so you've lost 70 doing what you're doing. But it might be important at this point to find somebody who can scrutinize how you're doing what you're doing. You know, and that could certainly help. Another option would be, you know, maybe it's time to do something else. X2, the next level on Gaiam, TV Fit and Yoga. You know what I mean? Just change it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Just completely, because, you know, you're in a plateau phase because your body's maybe getting used to doing the program the way you've been doing it forever. So I'm always upping the ante. I'm always pushing harder. I'm always increasing my range of motion. I'm always adding more reps. I'm always adding more weight. And I'm always adding new things. Like, you know, my whole yard is a playground with high bars and parallel bars and ninja courses and campus boards and, you know, and peg beams and I-beams, pegboards and I-beams. I mean, I'm just, you know what I mean? So I'm always conscious of making my workouts harder because I'm stronger than I used to be. So that's another thing. And Weight Watchers is great as Weight Watchers can be for a lot of people. It helps them lose weight. You know, I would also, if you have the time and the energy and the finances, to talk to a nutritionist. You know, somebody who's an expert, and really look at your macros and your micros, and, you know, maybe you can lean more toward paleo, or maybe you need to be vegan for a while, or maybe there's certain foods that you need to be cutting out. Because I know Weight Watchers is a program where it's a reduced calorie program. Not all the meals are necessarily as high in nutrition as they can be.
I think it's more of a points thing. So
yeah,
I think it's almost like you can kind of eat whatever you want as long as the points add up. I think.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but
I'm a fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats guy. My present eating thing, I mean, I have been cutting things out. I have little cheat snacks. I don't have cheat meals. I don't have a cheat meal. You know, today I had buffalo cauliflower and chicken for lunch. And then I had a Power Life shake with Foundation 4 for breakfast. You know, and then my snacks are, you know, simple whole foods, simple things, you know. And so maybe for a while you might want to get away from the Weight Watchers and just try a new diet thing. And, you know, I'm not there to be able to help you figure out how hard you train. I mean, you know, you could be overtraining even. You know, 7 days a week might be too much, and your body's holding on to the fat because it thinks that you're trying to kill it. You know what I mean? Like, what, you're trying to kill me? I better hold on to, what are we in, some kind of fight or flight mode here? You know, you might want to take a day off, or even 2. Cut down to 5 days a week and give yourself some rest and go on a hike on those days, or go for a walk on those days, or maybe meditate on those days, and not just train all the time. But yeah, I mean, as somebody who's sitting here in a chair far, far away from you, and I've never met you, you might need to find a nutritionist, and you might need to find a trainer, just to get a little checks and balances going for your situation.
And you might want to do, I just started a little reset that our friend Tammy is putting on through Gold's Gym with a doctor who's the foremost doctor in brain neuro something or other, but he knows a lot about keto because of his research. So it's a doctor-based program, but it's just to kind of reset your metabolism. So you might want to look into something like that too.
Resets can work. 30-day resets are often really good. Yeah. I don't know if that helped. It might not be what you wanted to hear, but that's my answer.
And you're sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Next one comes from Cameron in New York.
New York, New York, it's a fabulous joint. Okay.
He got that one down.
Yeah, because I grew up in the tri-state area over there. The water was up to the doors of the cars. It was awful.
Awful.
Awful water.
Awful.
Up to the doors.
Let's hope this question's better.
Nice job, Mrs. H.
Hey Tony, it's Cameron from New York. You've been my fitness idol for the last 8 years. I've even gotten to meet you in the last year at Idea World.
Oh.
Any advice for a coach who wants to create their own workout DVD program? You've inspired me to go the extra mile and start something awesome. Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's too hard. You'll age 100 years. No, that's not true. Look, I need more mini-me's, right? I need more help. And boy, I'm in the midst of, and we think this is going to be a 2021 thing, but building a course for folks like you that want to come here to my home, and we really hunker down and we figure out what it takes for people to be able to do what I do. And people are drawn to certain people based on their persona, on their personality, on their expertise, on their knowledge. It's a myriad of things that makes that people are drawn to you, right? So you have to be innovative. You got to be curious. You got to be fit. You got to be stylish. Shauna, at one point, somebody asked her. We were both doing an interview, and they asked, "What makes you popular?" And Shauna kind of ran down a list of about 20 different things, and those 20 different things will be in this course, but it'll be down the road. So. DVDs, I don't think that's something that you want to do, right? I mean, you got to find a manufacturer, and people don't, DVDs are phasing out, so I would even kind of get away from that. This new program that I'm doing, we are considering the possibility of DVDs for that select group of people if the price is right. I mean, that's one of the 110 things we have all on our plate right now. But you got to do all you can possibly do on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all the social media stuff, right? YouTube, you got to get on there. Your stuff has got to be interesting, and it's got to be innovative, and your personality's got to shine. There's got to be that twinkle in your eye. I mean, you got to be fired up and focused, and people got to fall in love with you, and it's going to take time. But right now, gyms are closed and people aren't, this is the time for you to shine. So, and then you got to get influencers. You just like, for example, when you build your program and your channel, whatever it is, you call us again and say, "Hey, Tony, will you take a look? If you like it, will you promote it for me?" And then I'll tell my fan base. And, it's trial and error. But you really, for me, scene study classes, improv classes, acting classes, stand-up comedy. I was with Second City Chicago for a year. I got really comfortable in front of, and I was going on auditions 4, 5, 6 times a week. I didn't get very many of the things I was auditioning for. But what that does is it makes you really comfortable in front of a camera, in front of an audience, and you can think on your feet. That's what improv was. It's just constantly thinking on your feet. Like, I have an internal clock that's always looking for the funny. And Shauna is my audience. So if I say a bunch of stuff and I don't get a laugh after about 2 minutes, I'll come up with something.
I'll get the hook.
She's take me out. You know what I mean? And by the way, maybe your thing isn't funny, but in our industry, in health and wellness, there is a whole lot of really well-educated people with a ton of degrees and certifications who are boring. And you don't want to be boring, buddy, because you're trying to tell people to do things they don't want to do. Hey, eat fruits and vegetables and work out 6 days a week. Yeah! How about you go eat a bag of rocks? That's what you're going to get from most people. So you got to make it palatable for folks. All right? And that requires that your persona, your personality shines, your presentation is awesome. And you know what you're doing, and you're innovative, right? There are your boxing coaches and your Pilates instructors and your weightlifting guys, and I'm a jack of all trades and really a master of none, and that's what makes my programs. I got the new program. I'm only one workout short of the first section of the new program, and man, I am slaving away in that other room in there trying to figure out the combinations and the sequence and how many reps and and packaging the whole thing. Like, what should day 1 look like, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5? And how should it be different than P90X, X2, and X3? I don't want to duplicate what I've already done, but certain patterns work, certain sequences work. So I want to stick to that. So I'm trying to get the best of the best and add some new moves as well. And that's what you have to be. You just have to, and you have to educate yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn a lot about a lot of different things. So, and personal development. I mean, read the books from Andrew Weil and Deepak Chopra and M. Scott Peck and Gary Zukav and Andrew Weil. Did I ever say Andrew Weil? And all of them, you know what I mean? And you take bits and pieces of all that great personal development stuff, and that helps you create this energy and vibe that you're trying to present to others. There you go.
Cool. Now I want to do one. Okay.
What's your question, Mrs. Orr?
Next question comes from Robert in San Diego.
Oh, it's down the street.
And this is right up your alley. He says, Tony, how is your biceps after the repair a few years ago?
It's so tiny.
I tore mine off 4 years ago, and I'm still nervous about pushing it in exercises. Well, that was not Tony's problem, let me tell you that.
No.
I had to force him to sit down. Do you have to baby yours, or is it back to normal? It amazes me to see you do the pegboard. I survived P90X.
Well, you know, here's the deal. I tore mine, I don't know, Mother's Day about 10 years ago. And so when I met the surgeon, he said, oh, I know who you are, so I'm going to do all these extra things. He put all kinds of different stuff in here so that it wouldn't pop open in the middle of my rehab. But no, I never babied it ever. You know, I mean, I talked to my doctor and he told me, hey, look, it's in there pretty well. I've got screws and bolts and things in there and chicken wire, it's all going on there. And so, you know, I mean, the problem is that unfortunately he didn't, like if you look at the difference between the two, this one's kind of narrow and it's short. This one is longer and wider. Now that's purely based on the fact that I don't think he could salvage all the fibers, and he thought it was a good idea to shorten it so I could have more torquing power, like I was some kind of a carpenter or plumber where I'm going to be turning screws all day. So
you never know what I'm going to make you build.
Yeah, and so he told me that after I woke up from surgery. I wasn't necessarily happy about that, but it works like a son of a gun. I mean, you could see that's a normal one, and you could see how this one is. There's all this dead space in here. So aesthetically, it's ugly as hell. But that's more about me than it is about you. I mean, if you had a good surgeon, you want to go back to that person and say, can I go after it here? I don't. By the way, a repaired biceps tendon is less likely to tear again than the other one. And so I think you're going to be fine. I would just kind of go for it, man.
And it's been 4 years. I think you're healed.
Yeah, you're healed up. So I would just, full throttle, do your biceps curls and do your pull-ups and push-ups don't affect biceps at all. So yeah, I wouldn't baby it unless you feel some real issues I don't know where. Sometimes when they do the surgery, mine's just here, which is a slightly newer version, but sometimes they do it here and there's a scar back here as well. So I went with a guy that just did this. But if you have pain, like with me, sometimes I have to kind of do this. Massage the scar and different things because it feels like it's pulling, because I'll get it's not now because I've been messing around, but when I do this with my fist, this muscle rises up. That never happens with this arm because it's normal, which means it's just a little bit tight, it needs some love. It's like a hamstring or a calf muscle or an Achilles, all right, because it's a muscle, the tendon that's attached to the bone. And I don't know if yours tore from the bottom or the top. Mine tore from the bottom. Most of them tear from the bottom and roll up, And every once in a while, the biceps tendon goes through the front of the anterior delt, like right up the center, and sometimes they tear there. So I don't know about the ones that tear up there, but the ones that tear down here, after 4 years, dude, go get it. You know what I mean? But be careful of something that feels odd here. You might want to massage it and stuff or stretch it out properly. I do a lot of stretching. With this, I do a lot of stuff with my hands, going forward and back, like on a table or on a wall. I do a lot to stretch all that out before I exercise.
Very good.
There you go.
Next question. Jennifer from Burlington, Ontario, Canada, currently at our cottage in Bay Verte, New Brunswick, Canada.
Wow, we got a lot, but usually we don't get any intel on where we live. Now we got
all the intel.
All the intel.
Yes.
I'm a little disappointed she didn't tell us where she was born. I
Seriously.
was kind of hoping for that.
We could just show up at your address now, Jennifer, from Burlington. She says, my question is about yoga. I noticed that Tony and Teddy don't seem to do balance poses during their classes.
No, the live classes.
I wondered, must be. I wondered if there was a reason for that. When I do Yoga X, there are lots of them, so I wondered what has changed. P.S. Thanks for all you do. One of my favorite parts of Yoga X is that Tony's voice used to put my daughter right to sleep, which made it easier for me to focus.
That's good, I guess. Well, I have a confession about that. You know, I mean, I don't do the balance postures on our Saturday workouts because I don't have balance anymore. And because of my bilateral vestibular hypofunction that I got from my Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, you know, you guys have all heard this, it's like a broken record. I don't know why Ted doesn't do it. In his classes that he does in Malibu that I've been to hundreds of times, he does not do balance there either. His stuff is it's a resistance workout. You know, the way he goes from move to move to move. We don't do Royal Dancer, and we'll do Half Moon maybe in his class once in a while. I do Half Moon, so there is some balance, but the one-legged stuff. And then, you know, in the middle of last week's, Shauna says, "Hey, you can do some balance," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I just can't do them. You know what I mean? It's kind of a bummer. And I try not to beat myself up about it. And even last week when I attempted a couple things, I just kept falling over. So I like to kind of be halfway decent at something so that I can show the rest of you. Because if I can't physically do it, then I can't really show it to you. I could maybe just stand there and describe it to you. Shauna, or I can go up to Shauna. But then the other time when I went up to you today, I was getting so close that I was messing with your energy and I was knocking you over.
He just gets like this close and I fall over.
And you know, so for me, my balance comes with handstands that I do separately on my own, and I fall over 1,000 times in a row until I don't. And then I have a slack line in the backyard that I get on 2 or 3 times a week that helps me. But the standing on one leg thing after a full hour worth of yoga, I can't physically do yet. Or maybe I never will, man. So I apologize for that. So you have them in X2, you have them in X3, you have them in the original P90X. So you can always reference them there. And maybe one day when I get my balance back, I'll start doing them.
Okay, next one comes from Jordan in Minnesota.
Joe, another Minnesota? We got 2 Minnesotas?
Minnesota.
Oh, you guys are just making me do the accent. That's why. Oh, sure, you know.
Jordan says, I first started my fitness journey back in college when me and 2 of my friends did P90X together every morning.
Oh, you're good boys.
I'm now 29, and throughout the past decade, I've dabbled in and out of different training styles, regimens, and programs, and the one consistent through my training has always been my frequency, usually 6 days a week. As I've been researching and pulling information from a myriad of different sources... Myriad, good word.
It's a popular word these days.
College grad. I've been questioning the frequency of my training. Many fitness experts, he puts in quotes... recommend only training 3 to 4 days a week to allow time for recovery. So what are your thoughts on this? I usually lift 3, sometimes 4 days a week, depending on how I feel, but I also do 2 days of cardio, whether it be running or HIIT training or your plyo DVD. I've been consistently on the schedule for a number of months and I feel great, though I do occasionally wake up sore. Once I get moving, about 10 minutes into my workout, I feel great and I'm relieved that I didn't skip it. So do you stand by working out 6 days a week? How do you know when it's too much and you're hurting your progress?
Yes, that's a very good question from Minnesota, you know. You know, I've always said the more you do, the better you get, right? And so if you got 7 days in a week, and I always feel like you got to do more days than not, because the days off will dominate the days on. So anybody working out 3 days a week, that usually means that 4 days a week they're doing nothing. And you're going to end up with what I call exercise bipolar disorder, right? Because what exercise does, almost all types, you know, yoga, Pilates, martial arts, resistance, bodybuilding, rowing, skiing, you know, whenever you're moving physically, you're releasing norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, brain-derived neurotropic factor. John Rady wrote the book Spark, all about the effects of physical fitness on the brain. So I want that often. And so what matters, there's a lot of things that matter. Your age, the intensity in which you work out, the types of workouts that you do, cardiovascular workouts in the week compared to resistance workouts in the week, compared to that mindfulness workouts in the week, and like yoga and meditation and other kind of mindfulness practices. Like also, what is your sleep patterns? What kind of food are you eating? How much stress are you under? All right, so this is certainly a one size does not fit all answer. In my opinion, you can work out 5 to 6 days a week for the rest of your life if you have all those things figured out. All right, okay, I'm getting my 8.5 hours of good sleep. I'm eating really healthy foods. I'm getting my macros and micros are spot on. I'm dealing with my stress, or I don't have a lot of stress in my life in the first place, which allows my body to heal, because other kinds of mental and emotional stress outside of the physical stress, which also causes mental and emotional stress, forces your telomeres, which are basically the building blocks of the chromosomes in your body, to get shorter and shorter and shorter, and then your adrenal glands go through the roof, and then your cortisol levels go up, and all these really terrible things happen. Even those things are terrible, those things are part of the exercise paradigm, right? And so it's finding balance, right? So because the average person who does nothing is in survival mode, and I've said this a million times, right? They're going to work, they're paying their bills, they're watching the ball game on the weekends, and they're hanging out with their family, and then they die, and they suffer from the usual issues because maybe their diet isn't great and they're not physically moving, so their range of motion decreases, their internal organs start to come apart, they end up with diseases like hypertension and diabetes and cancers and intestinal problems and all that stuff. And then the other people who kind of feel like they're doing okay, they're working out once in a while, 3 days a week, and they're eating pretty healthy sometimes, and sometimes it's just like, I'll tell you a story, man. I was online yesterday, and I was looking at people that follow me. And I go on your pages, and I look at, I can hit your name, and I can go right and look at your history. I can see everything you've been doing, I can see everything you've been eating, and I spy on all of you all the time. So I will see pictures of people training, and then I will cut to like these desserts that would kill people, like these triple chocolate caramel ice cream covers, and then had a cheat thing. I wouldn't eat that, man.
Your fan count's gonna drop in half by the time.
But you know what I mean. And so I see these people go, in shape, out of shape, in shape, out of shape, because life is hard and complicated. You know what I mean? For so many people. So there's so many things. It's a very rare thing for people to be lean and fit and strong and get better as they age. It is a complete anomaly, and I am one of those people because I like being this strong and I like feeling this good and I like to be able to physically do things at my age that I could not do in my 30s and my 20s and my teens. I think that is really cool and really special. Most people are like screwed up 6 ways to Sunday because they're not consistent with anything. You know what I mean? And so they eat their cheap meals, and they have giant ice cream, caramel, sugar bombs, and so my answer is, if you're doing meditation, decent sleep, stress is down, doing the right exercises on the right days and the right sequences, taking days off in 2 or 3 times once in a while is fine. Then you can work out 5 to 6 days a week until you're in your hundreds, man. I mean, that's my belief system, because you're going to thrive one way and you're only going to barely survive the other way. So if you have aches and pains, and you even say, we condensed what you wrote, but I remember reading what you said, you wake up a little stiff and tired in the morning, but when you work out, you're right back to normal again.
I read that.
Oh, that was in here? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. My subconscious picked it up then. Then yeah, I'm sore almost all the time. But I don't mind that, because what that soreness is, that's your muscle. Those are your muscles. I'm not talking joints. I'm talking muscles. Sometimes my back is stiff. Sometimes my elbow hurts. Sometimes my knee is a little cranky. But then I foam roll and I do Theragun and I get an Epsom salt baths. These are all other things that I do so that I can continue to work out 6 days a week. So it requires education. It requires learning a little bit more, and you learn a lot, as much as you can from me through all these programs. And you buy my book and you write the big picture and other things, and you learn more. I just don't think working out 3 or 4 days a week has enough value for you really to get what you want. So it's all the time. Like somebody just, the short answer is, you have to do all the right things all the time. Like you go to work all the time, like you sleep every night, like you eat 3 meals a day, like you breathe all the time to survive. Now, if you want to thrive, you got to work out and eat right all the time. That's it.
Good one. Okay, I have something fun for all of you. Tony doesn't know about this yet.
What is that?
I've decided.
I think we're out of time.
Executive decision. I made an executive decision because I thought this would be fun.
No, you brought this up the other day. Oh no, you're really doing it.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
So at the end of Tony Talks now we're going to do a speed round.
Oh Lord.
And Tony's got 30 seconds or less to answer these questions. Are you ready?
I guess.
Okay. Favorite band?
Led Zeppelin.
First crush?
Police. First crush. 30 seconds. Really? First crush? You putting that on there?
Yeah, man.
Melinda Schipple.
Okay. Favorite hobby?
Skiing.
Average bedtime?
Time when I go to bed?
Yep.
12:30 p.m.
One thing you're bad at?
Oh boy. One thing?
Hard to narrow down.
I'm still bad at keeping my stress at bay.
And last but not least, something
There's more? There's another
something you'd like to try one day.
It's not kite surfing. It's paddle boarding. It's an electric paddle board that raises out of the water that has a fin where you have a little electronic. Oh my God! Have you seen those things? Google it. I don't know what it's called. Greg,
I want one tomorrow.
Yeah, you just get on it and it just rises out of the water. It's like a skateboard on a lake.
Oh.
And you control the speed of this.
Getting one of those.
I want to know what it's called.
Getting one.
That sounds insane.
Please, somebody comment below these. Oh, and by the way, that's something else. So, if you're enjoying the Tony Talks, be sure to like and follow, right? But somebody asked, well, how
like
do you
and
like
subscribe?
and follow?
Only if you can't
Right.
do that here.
Can't do it on Instagram or Facebook.
Or Facebook, but you can do it on YouTube.
But these do get posted on YouTube.
They do.
And you can do that there.
Yeah.
And you can watch all the past
And
episodes.
what's the YouTube channel called?
It's Tony Horton Fitness.
Yeah, see, I gave her one of those. Didn't know that was coming questions. And you nailed it. You got yours right. Tony Horton Fitness. Go to Tony Horton Fitness on YouTube. And these will live there, along with a bunch of other ones from the old days.
There's yoga workouts and all kinds of stuff.
Everything is all in
Cooking
there.
videos.
Cooking videos with me and Peter, my manager. So that was a good one. I like the speed round.
Yeah. I'm going to keep doing it.
I didn't know you were starting this week. I didn't know you were starting this week.
I'm doing it. And here, Tony does not know those questions. So
I know the other ones. I glanced at the other ones,
Yeah.
obviously, But I don't rehearse the answers. I read them through once, and then whatever inspires me is what I say right here, right now. But those 5 or 6, didn't know those were coming. Again, episode 9, really fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, for continuing to watch. Mrs. Horton, again, thank you for all your hard work. You're the greatest wife since the beginning of wives.
you're the greatest husband ever since the husbands were invented.
Oh, wow, that's very sweet. Time to kiss me. I love you.
All right.
I love you guys and gals too. Keep the stories coming. Keep the questions coming. Don't be afraid to make them weird and zany and odd.
That's right.
If you could stray away from diet and motivation, we've done a lot of those. We're
right.
trying to keep them fresh.
And you keep asking where to submit your questions. You go to TonyHortonLife.com. On the contacts page, there's a drop-down menu that says Tell Tony Your Story. You can put your story there. You can put your question there. You can put whatever you want to there. Tell Tony he gave you a terrible, painful workout this morning. Whatever you want.
Right on, boys and girls. I'm getting blurry, I bet. Blurry, thank you. Bye. Bye. See you next week.